So we're just going to look now at how a fullback will support a winger into attack, and there are a number of different scenarios. It's never cut and dried, but I think that the simplest one is a simple one, is where you get the ball in this sort of position as a fullback. Maybe you've been past it from your centre back and you're in a wide area there, and you'll just basically give it to your winger. And he's usually, particularly during my career, I was blessed to have played with Kanchelskis and Beckham and the likes of Ronaldo and Valencia. They would then maybe take the ball inside, and then you either would just support from behind. So let's say, for instance, this player was tight and he was right behind him and he didn't give him any space to turn. You would support from behind, and that's just a simple support, so you could pass the ball back to you, and then you've got maybe then that little pass into your forward, or you might have to come back through your midfield player if it's blocked off there. You might have to come back into there, but that's the easiest and simplest way of supporting your forward. It's not the most progressive. I think where you're then starting to get into sort of the more dynamic runs of a fullback is where maybe the fullback's here and you've played it to him there, and he starts to then engage that winger. Then you might start to make your little overlaps. Now becoming more prominent in the game is the underlap as well. So you might just pop it round him there and go actually inside and make the little underlap run. Let's just say they're pinned back there. So you make not just the overlap run, which is that one. You actually make that run inside there, which is a little pass inside, and then you're through in this little channel. So they're the two simplest ones when it's on your side, to support from behind, or the simple underlap or overlap. I think where I used to enjoy supporting was when the ball was actually on the other side of the pitch. I always felt my biggest chances to get into play. Let's say, for instance, I'll work on the theory that's Patrice Evra, and he's on the ball here, and this is Ryan Giggs, and this is Paul Scholes. Let's say that's Michael Carrick. This is Vidic and Ferdinand, and this would be Valencia over on this side. And what would happen is the opposing team would always try and push over to the side of the ball, and they'd try and make sure that they squeeze over to that side. And let's say, for instance, Antonio Valencia was in here. I think there, where I always used to think I was in business, was when that ball went into Paul Scholes, and before he received it, before he even did that and opened up. So as that ball's transferred, let's say from Patrice Evra there, as that ball's around here, before he's even recognised, I'm on my way there, and I know that Paul Scholes is out of his feet, and then that passes on, and then you're in business. Then you're in 2v1 territory, and that's where I think you should get a lot of joy, particularly at Old Trafford, when you've got players with the capability of a Scholes and a Carrick in midfield who could switch play and attack on the side of the ball that it's not on to start with. So let's say the ball's over here, all the other team have pushed over, they're all focusing, thinking the attack's coming down this side, and that's where you switch of play really. Sometimes, particularly the way we played at Old Trafford, it's not always the way to play football, but certainly it's the way in which we like to do it. We like to open the pitch up, make it as big as possible, make these defenders work, make this player here on the left-hand side of midfield for the opposition team have to chase all the way back, but you could steal a march on him by supporting him that way, and once you get into there, you then give it to him, and the same rules apply. You're doing your overlap. If you give it to him and he's been caught, you can then run in there. So they're the ones that I thought were the most exciting opportunities to actually get in as a fullback when you caught this man sleeping. I think the ones, this is in very small form, but let's say that the Blues are attacking over here and they cross a ball into, let's say it's going to the goalkeeper. I think where you can get the winger on the opposite side that you're against, but let's say your goalkeeper's going to get it and he's made a move forward as well. That's where I think you can get a real quick counter-attack. You can really catch, from deep positions as a fullback nowadays. I think the point whereby you win the ball back, particularly in deep areas, especially if it's been on this side of the pitch, I think you can become a real focal point of the counter-attack, particularly if your right side player in front of you runs in there, takes that left back in. You can then get caught because he'll have been thinking about receiving the ball on the cross from this side. He's going in there. Goalkeeper gets it. You can really be a focal point of that breakout of attack. So I think they're the ones that I think more in the modern game now are coming to the fore. The simple ones that we started with, the ones then from the other side where it switches play, but then obviously these ones where it actually comes into it from a deep defensive position where you can catch and surprise the players that you're playing against.